Tom had stopped expecting Christmas to feel magical. He had learned to measure holidays in smaller things like warm food, safe sleep, and a quiet moment without worry. That year, the cold felt sharper than usual, and the wind outside his building sounded like it was searching for cracks to slip through. Tom lived on the second floor of an old apartment block where the hallway lights flickered and the stairs creaked like tired bones. Inside his place, the heater worked only when it wanted to, and the thin curtains could not fully block the draft from the window. Still, he kept the room as neat as he could because he wanted his daughter to feel that their home was steady. Her name was Lily, and she was 7 years old, with soft cheeks and curious eyes that noticed far more than Tom wished. She carried a worn teddy bear everywhere, holding it like it was a promise that tomorrow could be kinder. Tom watched Lily sleep on the small bed and felt his chest tighten with a mix of love and guilt. He had wrapped an extra blanket around her and tucked the edges in carefully the way his mother used to do for him. The teddy bear rested under Lily's chin, and her breathing came slow and even like the room itself was finally calm. Tom sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his hands together because the air was cold and because his mind would not stop moving. He had worked a double shift delivering packages all day, and his feet still felt like they were buzzing from hours of walking up steps and down icy paths. The holiday rush had made the city loud, but his apartment was quiet, and the quiet made his thoughts louder. He thought about the bills on the table, the rent due soon, and the way Lily had smiled anyway when he gave her the teddy bear. It was not new, but he had cleaned it and tied a small ribbon on its neck, and Lily had hugged it like it was the best gift in the world. That smile was the kind of thing that kept Tom standing when his body wanted to sink. He leaned in and whispered that he was proud of her, even though she was asleep and could not answer. Then he stood up slowly and checked the tiny kitchen to make sure everything was safe for the night. The fridge was almost empty, but there was enough for breakfast if he could buy milk. Tom put on his worn coat, pulled his hat low, and quietly stepped outside so he would not wake Lily. The hallway smelled like old paint and damp shoes, and the cold hit him hard as soon as he opened the building door. Snow covered the street in a thin, uneven layer, and the streetlights made it glitter like bits of broken glass. Tom started walking toward the corner store, keeping his hands in his pockets and his head down against the wind. A few cars passed, but most of the city felt asleep, resting after busy family dinners and bright living rooms. Tom tried not to imagine what those homes looked like inside because it made his own place feel smaller. He focused on the simple mission of milk and bread, and he told himself that simple missions mattered. As he passed the small park near his building, he noticed a shape near a bench under a streetlight that barely worked. At first he thought it was a bag of trash left behind, but then the shape moved. Tom slowed down, and his instincts told him to keep walking because trouble could be expensive. Then the streetlight flickered, and he saw a young woman sitting on the bench with her shoulders curled inward. She wore a thin coat that looked more suited for autumn than winter, and her hands were shaking. Tom stopped a few steps away and asked if she was okay. The woman looked up fast, like she had been trained to notice danger, and her eyes were wide and tired at the same time. She looked about 20 or maybe a little older, but her expression made her seem older than her years. Her lips were pale from the cold, and a few strands of hair had stuck to her forehead. She hesitated before speaking, and Tom could hear how stiff her voice was. She said her name was Anna. She said her phone had died and she had gotten turned around. She said she was trying to get home, but her directions were gone and she did not know where to go. Tom glanced around, seeing empty sidewalks and dark windows, and he felt that heavy choice settle in his chest. He thought of Lily asleep, and he thought of the risk of bringing a stranger near his child. He also thought of what would happen if he walked away and the cold kept getting worse. Tom took off his jacket and held it out, telling Anna to put it on for now. Anna shook her head at first, but her teeth chattered, and her pride could not fight the weather for long. She accepted the jacket with a quiet thank you and wrapped it around herself. Tom asked where she needed to go, and Anna gave a street name that was far enough that walking would be hard. Tom told her the truth, that he did not have money for a ride, and his car was not his own. Anna nodded like she understood the world of limits. Tom looked at her thin shoes and the way she kept rubbing her hands, and he made a decision that felt both risky and right. He told her she could warm up in his apartment for a bit and charge her phone. Anna stared at him like she did not believe kindness could be real without a hidden cost. Tom kept his voice calm and steady and said he was just trying to help because it was Christmas. Anna swallowed, then nodded once, and she followed him at a careful distance. On the walk back, neither of them talked much, and the only sounds were their footsteps and the wind. Tom kept glancing back to make sure Anna did not fall, and he noticed she was limping slightly. When they reached the building, Tom held the door open and guided her up the stairs slowly. Inside his apartment, the warmth felt small but real, like a candle fighting the dark. Anna stood near the door, looking around at the plain room, the small table, and the single picture of Lily on the wall. Lily's bedroom door opened a little, and Lily peeked out with sleepy eyes. Tom's heart jumped, and he quickly stepped between Lily and the stranger while keeping his voice gentle. He told Lily it was okay and said this was Anna, who needed to warm up for a little while. Lily stared at Anna's pale face and then at Tom's worried expression. Anna knelt down slowly and spoke softly, telling Lily she liked her teddy bear because it looked brave. Lily blinked, then hugged the bear tighter and gave a small smile. Tom felt his shoulders loosen just a little. He made tea with the last of his sugar, and he set a plate of crackers on the table. Anna held the warm cup with both hands like it was the first safe thing she had touched in days. Tom asked again if she had someone to call, and Anna said yes, but her phone had died. He plugged it in, and the screen lit up a moment later, showing a lock screen with no clear hints about her life. Anna watched the phone like it was both a tool and a threat, and Tom noticed her fingers trembling even as the room warmed up. He did not ask too many questions because he knew some stories needed time to come out. He told Anna that she could rest on the chair and stay until her phone was charged. Lily sat at the table, quietly nibbling a cracker while watching Anna with curiosity. Anna gave Lily a careful smile, and for the first time her face softened. When the phone finally turned on fully, Anna looked at the screen, then quickly turned it off again like she did not want any noise. Tom noticed that and asked if she was in trouble. Anna looked at him for a long second, then said she just needed a safe place for the night. Tom felt the weight of responsibility again, but he also felt something else, a sense that life had placed a test in front of him. He told her she could sleep on the bed while he took the floor, and he promised he would lock the door. Anna tried to refuse, but Lily yawned and reached for Tom's hand, and the moment made the decision feel simple. That night, Tom laid a blanket on the floor near Lily's bed, and he listened to the building settle into silence. Anna lay on the bed with her back to the room, still wearing Tom's jacket like armor. Lily fell asleep quickly, comforted by the sound of adults nearby. Tom stared at the ceiling, wondering who Anna really was and why she looked like someone had been chasing her for miles. He eventually drifted off, exhausted, with his mind still holding the image of the lonely bench in the park. In the morning, sunlight pushed through the curtains, and Tom sat up fast, remembering. He looked at the bed, and Anna was gone. The jacket was neatly folded on the chair, and her phone charger cord was placed carefully on the table. There was a small note beside it, written in simple handwriting. The note said thank you, and it said Tom had a good heart. It said she hoped she could repay him one day, and it ended with her name, Anna. Tom read it twice, then folded it and put it in his wallet like it mattered. He did not know if he would ever see her again, but the note made the night feel real and not like a strange dream. Days turned into weeks, and the holiday season faded into routine. Tom went back to work, delivering packages through snow and slush, saving every bit he could. Lily sometimes asked about Anna, and Tom told her Anna was safe now, hoping it was true. Then, one evening after a long shift, Tom felt dizzy behind the wheel of his delivery van while parked near a warehouse. His hands started shaking, and his vision blurred at the edges. He tried to breathe slowly, but the world tilted, and he barely had time to pull the keys out before everything went dark. When Tom opened his eyes again, he was not in his apartment and not in the warehouse. He was lying in a bed that felt softer than anything he had ever touched. Above him was a high ceiling with clean white molding, and sunlight poured through tall windows covered with elegant curtains. Tom sat up, stunned, as his eyes moved across a room that looked like it belonged in a movie. A wide fireplace stood on one wall, and the floor was polished wood with a thick rug. The air smelled like clean linen and expensive soap. Tom's heart started pounding as he realized he had woken up in a mansion. He swung his legs off the bed, confused and afraid, and he whispered one question to the empty room. Tom sat still on the edge of the wide bed, trying to calm his breathing. The room around him felt unreal, like a place he had only seen on screens outside store windows. Soft light filled the space, and the walls were painted in calm colors that made his small apartment feel like a distant memory. He touched the blanket beneath his fingers, thick and smooth, and pulled his hand back like he was afraid it might disappear. Tom stood up slowly, his legs weak, and looked down at himself. His clothes were clean, different from what he remembered wearing at work the night before. The worn jacket was gone, replaced by a simple but neat shirt and pants. His shoes were lined up near the bed, cleaned and polished. Tom felt his heart beating faster as questions filled his mind. He walked toward the window and gently pulled the curtain aside. Outside, a wide garden stretched out, covered in fresh snow that sparkled under the sun. Tall trees stood in perfect rows, and a long stone path led to iron gates far away. The silence outside felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Tom stepped back, overwhelmed, and turned toward the door. Before he could touch the handle, the door opened quietly. A woman in a neat uniform stood there, her posture straight and her face calm. She greeted him politely and asked if he was feeling better. Tom nodded slowly and asked where he was. The woman told him he was in a private residence and that he had fainted the night before. She said he had been brought here for care and rest. Tom asked who owned the house, but the woman smiled and said he would be told soon. She invited him to follow her to the dining room when he felt ready. Tom hesitated but followed, his footsteps soft on the polished floor. The hallway was wide and filled with framed art and warm lights. Every step made him more nervous, like he did not belong in a place so clean and quiet. They entered a large dining room where a long table was set with breakfast. Fresh bread, fruit, and warm drinks filled the air with a gentle smell. Tom stopped at the doorway, unsure if he should step closer. The woman encouraged him to sit and said the food was for him. Tom sat down carefully, feeling small in the large chair. He took a bite of bread, and his eyes widened at the taste. It reminded him how little he usually had time to enjoy food. As he ate, his thoughts returned to Lily. Panic rose in his chest as he realized she would wake up alone. Tom pushed his chair back and stood up quickly. He asked where his daughter was and why no one had told him about her. The woman looked surprised and told him not to worry. She said Lily was safe and being cared for nearby. Tom demanded to see her, his voice shaking despite his effort to stay calm. The woman nodded and led him to another room. Inside, Lily sat on a soft couch holding her teddy bear. Her eyes lit up when she saw Tom, and she ran into his arms. Tom knelt and hugged her tightly, relief washing over him. Lily asked where they were and why the house was so big. Tom told her they were guests and that everything was okay. He was not sure if he believed his own words. After Lily settled, Tom noticed another person standing near the window. The woman turned slowly, and Tom felt his breath catch. It was Anna. She looked different from the night in the park. Her hair was neatly styled, and she wore simple but elegant clothes. Her face looked calm and strong, not pale and lost like before. Tom stared at her, struggling to connect the images in his mind. Anna smiled gently and thanked him for waking up. Tom asked her what was going on and why they were there. Anna took a deep breath and asked him to sit. She explained that she was the owner of the house. She said she was also the leader of the company Tom worked for. Tom felt the room spin again as her words sank in. He remembered the note, the park, the thin coat, and the fear in her eyes. He looked at Anna and asked why she had been alone that night. Anna said she had needed to escape pressure and noise. She said she wanted to feel invisible for one night. She admitted she had underestimated the cold and the danger. Tom listened silently, his hands clenched together. Anna told him that when she fainted in the park, her security team found her phone. Location later. They had been searching all night. When they found her, she told them everything about Tom and Lily. She told them how Tom had helped without knowing who she was. Anna said that when Tom collapsed at work days later, she recognized his name. She ordered her team to bring him and Lily here for care. Tom asked why she did not explain everything right away. Anna said she wanted to face him honestly and not as a title. She said kindness without reward was rare, and she did not want to cheapen it. Tom felt anger and confusion mixing inside him. He asked if this was all some test or experiment. Anna shook her head and said no. She said she only wanted to help him the way he had helped her. She told him she had learned more about life in his small apartment than in all her meetings. Tom looked at Lily, who was quietly listening while hugging her teddy bear. He thought about how fragile trust could be. He asked what would happen next. Anna said that was up to him. She offered support for his health, Lily's education, and a chance at a better job. She made it clear there were no conditions attached. Tom sat in silence for a long moment. He felt pride fighting with fear inside his chest. He had survived by standing on his own for so long. Accepting help felt like stepping onto ice without knowing its strength. Lily tugged on his sleeve and asked if they could stay for breakfast. Her innocent question made the tension ease slightly. Tom looked at Anna and asked for time to think. Anna nodded and said he could take all the time he needed. She told him that the house was open to them for now. As Anna left the room, Tom held Lily close and stared around the mansion. He realized that the rescue he thought he had given might have come back to change his life forever. Tom spent the rest of the morning sitting quietly with Lily in the large living room. The space felt too open, and every sound echoed in a way that made him uneasy. Lily seemed comfortable, walking slowly across the soft rug and touching things with careful hands. She had never seen a place like this before, and her eyes followed every detail with wonder. Tom watched her closely, afraid she might break something just by breathing near it. He kept reminding himself that they were guests and that nothing here truly belonged to them. A staff member brought warm drinks and small plates of food, then left without asking questions. The kindness felt smooth and practiced, which made Tom more nervous than comforted. He was used to help that came with tired faces and short patience. This kind of quiet service felt like another world. After Lily finished eating, she climbed onto the couch beside Tom and leaned against him. She asked if they were on vacation. Tom smiled weakly and said something like that. Inside, his thoughts were loud and messy. He kept replaying Anna's words in his head. Owner of the house. Leader of the company. The woman from the park and the powerful figure felt like two different people. Tom wondered which one was real or if both were. He also wondered why life liked to test him when he was already tired. A soft knock came at the door, and Anna stepped inside alone. She moved slower now, like she was trying not to scare him away. She sat across from him, keeping a respectful distance. She asked how he was feeling. Tom answered honestly and said confused. Anna nodded like she expected that. She said confusion was fair. She said she did not want to rush him or pressure him into anything. She explained that doctors had checked him and said the fainting was caused by exhaustion and stress. She said his body had simply reached its limit. Tom felt a strange mix of shame and relief. He had always told himself he could push a little more. Hearing that his body disagreed scared him. Anna asked about his work schedule and his nights. Tom told her the truth about long hours and short sleep. He did not exaggerate or soften it. Anna listened without interrupting, her hands folded calmly. When he finished, she let out a slow breath. She said no one should live like that. Tom shrugged and said many people did. Anna said that did not make it right. Lily watched them quietly, sensing the seriousness in the room. She asked Anna if she lived there all alone. Anna smiled gently and said the house was always full of people but often felt empty. Lily nodded like she understood something important. She said empty houses were the loudest at night. The comment surprised both adults. Anna looked thoughtful and thanked Lily for saying that. Tom felt a small ache in his chest at how easily children spoke truth. Anna then turned back to Tom and asked what he wanted to do next. She said she could arrange for them to go home right away if that was his choice. She also said they could stay for a few days so he could rest. Tom felt torn. Going home meant returning to bills and pressure. Staying meant stepping deeper into a world he did not understand. He asked if there would be cameras or conditions. Anna shook her head and said no. She said this was not charity but respect. Tom asked why him. Anna looked at him and said because he saw a stranger as a person. She said many people would have walked past her that night. She said his help had no hidden motive. Tom looked down at his hands and said he only did what felt right. Anna said that was exactly why it mattered. They sat in silence for a while after that. The house felt less threatening and more strange in a quiet way. Tom agreed to stay for one day so Lily could enjoy a break and he could regain strength. Anna accepted his answer without pushing for more. She stood up and said she would check back later. As she left, Tom realized he trusted her more than he expected. The afternoon passed slowly. Lily explored the garden with supervision and laughed when she saw birds hopping in the snow. Tom watched her from inside, feeling something close to peace. He had not seen her laugh like that in a long time. A doctor came by and spoke gently, explaining rest and balance. Tom listened carefully, realizing how close he had come to falling apart. That evening, Anna invited them to dinner. The table was large, but only 3 places were set. The meal was simple and warm, not fancy or overwhelming. Tom appreciated that. They talked about small things like favorite foods and weather. Anna asked Lily about school and listened closely to every answer. Lily talked about her teacher and her drawings. Anna praised her and said creativity was important. Tom watched the interaction and felt grateful but cautious. After dinner, Lily grew sleepy. Anna showed them to a guest room prepared for Lily. It was cozy and filled with soft light. Lily hugged Tom and asked if everything was going to be okay. Tom said yes even though he was not fully sure. Later that night, Tom stood alone near a window, looking out at the dark garden. Anna joined him quietly. She said she wanted to apologize again for disappearing that morning weeks ago. She said fear had made her run. Tom said he understood more than she might think. They stood side by side, not touching, both looking outside. Anna said power often made people lonely. Tom said struggle did the same. For a moment, their worlds felt closer than before. Anna then told him something that surprised him. She said she had started reviewing how her company treated workers. She said his situation had opened her eyes. Tom did not know what to say. He felt small in the face of that responsibility. Anna said change had to start somewhere. As the night grew quiet, Tom returned to his room. He lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling again. This time it did not feel unreal. It felt like standing at the edge of something new. He wondered what accepting help would mean for his pride and his future. He wondered how many lives crossed for a reason. Sleep came slowly but gently. And as Tom drifted off, he realized that the hardest part was not being rescued. It was deciding whether he was brave enough to step forward when life offered a second chance. Tom woke up early the next morning, before the house stirred. The room was quiet, and soft light slipped in through the curtains. For a moment, he forgot where he was, then everything came back at once. The mansion, Anna, the truth, and the choice waiting in front of him. He sat up slowly and listened for Lily. From the next room, he heard her gentle breathing. That sound grounded him more than anything else. Tom stood, washed his face, and looked at himself in the mirror. He looked older than his years, but his eyes were clearer than before. For the first time in a long while, his body did not ache with exhaustion. He walked to Lily's room and watched her sleep for a moment. She smiled faintly even in sleep, holding her teddy bear close. Tom felt a quiet promise forming inside him. Whatever decision he made would be for her future, not his pride. When Lily woke up, she seemed cheerful and rested. She asked if they could go home soon. Tom said yes, but not just yet. He told her they would talk to Anna first. Lily nodded like that made sense. At breakfast, Anna joined them with the same calm presence as before. She asked how they slept. Tom thanked her and said they slept well. There was a pause, gentle but heavy. Tom told her he had thought carefully about her offer. Anna listened without interrupting. He said he could not accept everything she offered. Anna did not look offended. He explained that he needed to feel useful, not saved. He said he wanted stability, not comfort handed to him. Anna smiled slightly and said she respected that. Tom then surprised himself by asking for something else. He asked for a fair chance at a better position within the company. He asked for training, steady hours, and health support. He asked for help with Lily's education, not luxury, just opportunity. Anna nodded slowly as he spoke. She said that sounded like a partnership, not charity. She said yes. Tom felt something lift off his chest. They discussed practical details without emotion or drama. Anna kept everything clear and simple. Lily listened quietly, swinging her feet under the table. When the talk ended, Lily asked if Anna would still be their friend. Anna laughed softly and said she hoped so. Tom saw something genuine in her smile. Later that day, they prepared to leave. Staff brought their coats, including Tom's old jacket. It had been cleaned and folded with care. Tom held it for a moment before putting it on. It felt like a reminder of where he came from. Anna walked them to the door herself. She crouched to Lily's level and told her she was brave and kind. Lily hugged Anna without hesitation. Tom watched, surprised by how natural it felt. Outside, the car waited to take them home. Tom turned back once and looked at the mansion. It no longer felt intimidating. It felt like a place where a door had opened. Anna stood at the steps and raised her hand in a quiet goodbye. The drive back to the apartment was silent. Lily leaned against Tom and fell asleep quickly. The city looked the same as always. Old buildings, busy streets, tired people moving forward. But Tom felt different moving through it. When they reached home, everything looked smaller but familiar. Tom unlocked the door and stepped inside. Nothing had changed, yet everything had. That night, Tom cooked a simple meal. Lily talked about the garden and the birds. Tom listened with a full heart. Days turned into weeks. Tom started training for his new position. The work was challenging but fair. His hours became reasonable. His body slowly recovered strength. Lily began attending a better school nearby. She came home excited with stories and drawings. Tom kept the note from Anna in his wallet, still folded. Sometimes he reread it on hard days. Anna did not disappear from their lives. She checked in, not as a boss, but as someone who cared. She kept her word and kept her distance when needed. Months later, Tom stood in the park on another cold evening. The same bench sat under the streetlight. This time, the light worked. Tom watched people pass and wondered how many quiet moments shaped lives. He realized rescue did not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looked like a jacket shared in the cold. Sometimes it looked like a chance given without judgment. Tom went home that night feeling steady. He tucked Lily into bed and kissed her forehead. She asked if Christmas would be better this year. Tom smiled and said yes. And this time, he believed it.